Hi guys, welcome to the very last video of this little series. This is kind of a secret 8th episode in a way, but before going into this little ranking thing, let me talk about the background of this first. So when I started my sophomore year this year, and when I was learning about the personal project, I had a lot of different ideas, but my main one was to read and rate books. I used to love reading when I was younger, but I stopped during my freshman year. I've been meaning to get back into reading, and what better way to do it than to do it for school? But no, seriously, I knew the best way for me to get back into reading was to constantly do it and be held accountable by the project. For my personal project, my learning goal was to learn about how different book genres change the structure of the book and the appeal to the public by using my personal and cultural expression and critical literacy. Usually, when I used to read, I only really picked books in the same genre that I liked to read, or even if the book cover looked cute. When thinking about how I would go about this project, I thought about the amount of books I'll never read because I've never read in that genre before. So for this project, I picked 7 different books with different genres to read. I wanted to analyze the structure and how the author went about writing the book and how the genre affected that and their audience. I also knew I wanted to post my reviews I wrote for each book to see if anybody would take my recommendations for the books I'm reading. For this project, I really wanted to know how certain themes and topics reeled in certain demographics of people. Before I read each book, I'd try to go in with an open mind, even if I didn't think I'd like the book, but I'd also try to set my mind into the certain demographic that the author intended the book for. Even if I didn't think I'd like something, I'd always try until the very end to see if I actually do like the genre or the way of writing. I learned a lot from this process, and I learned that I actually do like rom-coms, and I absolutely adore contemporary novels. I didn't even know what contemporary was in book genres, but now I know that I love them. I learned new phrases and vocabulary words throughout all 7 books, which was also a goal of mine. I wanted to expand my literary knowledge by doing this, and I learned so much just from this one experience. So for my product goal, after reading and annotating the whole book, I would use a template I made myself to fully review and rate the book. Looking at all my annotations and notes, I'd make sure to talk about them in my review if they were important to the project. I'd write my script while filling out the template, and then I'd record. After recording my review, I would edit the video myself and then post it onto my personal project YouTube account. I made a schedule in advance so that my publishing dates would align with the last week of winter break, and I made sure all my videos were recorded and edited by then. Now on to my review and rating of each book. Before I talk about that, I want to talk about what defines a 5-star read in my opinion. A 5-star book has specific qualities like needing to continuously read without taking breaks, having a memorable scene stuck in your head, feeling intense emotions, and being unable to speak on bad qualities of the book. Not many books have all these qualities, which is why I like to rate my book on a 1 to 5 scale. Anything counts if it's in between those numbers, so sometimes I like to give a 4.5 star rating because it was so close to having all the qualities, but I just couldn't. I feel like I'm easily impressed, so I already gave 2 out of the 7 books a 5-star rating, which may change over time, but I like to really think before I rate a book fully. So a quick review or summary of each book. The first book I read was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. In a dystopian future, Katniss Everdeen volunteers to take her sister's place in the annual Hunger Games, which is a brutal, televised fight to the death between 24 kids, where her survival and growing defiance against the controlling capital spark hope for the rebellion. For the second book, I have Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. Alone with You in the Ether is a contemporary love story like no other, exploring the nature of love, what it means to be unwell, and how to face the fractures of ourselves and still love as if we're not broken. For my third book, I have 5 Survived by Holly Jackson. Red Kennedy is on a road trip for spring break with 5 friends: her best friend and her older brother, his perfect girlfriend, Red's secret crush, a classmate, and a killer. When their RV breaks down in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, they soon realize this is no accident. They've been trapped by someone out there in the dark, someone who clearly wants one of them dead. For the fourth book I read, it was Heaven by Miko Kawakami. In a Japanese school, we meet a 14-year-old boy, subjected to relentless torment for having a lazy eye. He chooses to suffer in silence instead of fighting back. The only person who understands what he's going through is a female classmate, Kojima, who experiences similar treatment at the hands of her bullies. Providing each with consolation at a time in their lives where they need it the most, the 2 young friends grow closer than ever. But what ultimately is the nature of a friendship when your shared bond is terror? For my 5th book, I have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Better Than the Movies follows Lick's Buxbaum as she creates a fake dating scheme with her neighbor Wes to win over her childhood crush, Michael, only to discover that her real-life love story might be better than any movie as she navigates grief and real feelings over idealized romance. The sixth book I read was The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. The Great Gatsby is a tragic love story of the mysterious millionaire Jay Gatsby's obsessive quest to win back his lost love, Daisy Buchanan, revealing the illusion and hollowness beneath the surface of the Jazz Age's American dream through the eyes of our narrator Nick Carraway. The seventh and final book I read was If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Kawamura. Estranged from his family and living alone with only his cat, Cabbage, to keep him company, he was unprepared for the doctor's diagnosis that he has only months to live. But before he can tackle his bucket list, the devil shows up with an offer. In exchange for making one thing in the world disappear, the postman will be granted one extra day of life. And so begins a very strange week that brings the young postman and his beloved cat to the brink of existence. Now it's time to rate the books. So starting from the bottom, my least favorite book of them all was The Great Gatsby. I don't want any English lit teachers hating me, but this book was just the least memorable of them all. The book does get an award though for being the book with the least amount of annotations. It wasn't bad, but compared to the other books, I enjoyed this one the very least. Moving on to sixth place, we have Five Survive by Holly Jackson. When I was purchasing these books, I was the most excited for this one because I thought I'd like the thriller genre, and I've heard many good things about the author. But it was super underwhelming to what I expected. I still got the shock factor from the thriller and mystery part of this book, but that was it, and I expected more from the author. In fifth place, I unfortunately placed The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins here. This was my favorite book for a while before starting this project, so I feel very bad for this low of a rating, but somehow I found the 4 other books slightly better. What's crazy though is that I gave this book an overall score of 4.5 out of 5, which just means this book is amazing and the next couple of books are somehow better. In fourth place, we have Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. This book gets an award for having the most annotations though. It was a really good book that I had an even better experience with, which is why it's kind of weird that it's fourth place. I gave this book an overall score of a 5 out of 5, so really, there are no bad books in this whole ranking. They're just super incredible books. On to the podium. In third place, we have Heaven by Meiko Kawakami. This was such an incredible book. I love the entire concept of this book, and I love how it made me think and how everything really touched me. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was when I first started it, but it was shockingly a very nice surprise. In second place, we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This isn't anything deep or sentimental, but it's a very cheesy and rom-com-y kind of book. Going into this book, I knew I was gonna hate it because I didn't care to read rom-coms, but I was so incredibly wrong. This book was so amazing in my eyes. It doesn't compare to any contemporary romance or a romance with deeper meanings because it's a rom-com. But it's a rom-com for a reason. It's really light and it was a cute story. It was absolutely superb. Now, for the final best book that I've ever read this whole entire journey, we have If Cats Disappear from the World by Genki Kawamura. So incredibly spectacular. It exceeded all of my expectations. Other than enjoying a book, I also wanted to learn and feel emotions, which is what I got from this book. An important message about life and to be grateful took so many emotions out of me, and on top of all the deep meanings, it had some comedic moments, cute moments, annoying moments. It had it all. A perfect short novel in my opinion, and I think everybody should read it. After all of these books and videos that I've posted, this is the end of my reviewing series. This was such an amazing learning experience and the best project that I've ever done. Thank you so much for staying and watching.